The Southern African Development Community Private Forum has launched the groundbreaking SADC Labor Law Guide. That's an online tool that provides up-to-date labor laws from the region in one central location. Now, the SADC Labor Law Guide brings together up-to-date laws, labor laws from the SADC countries, and allows users to search and deep dive into components of laws of any specific country. Bellaro Mupurua from the Global Apprenticeship Network now joins us to talk about this. Good morning and welcome to GMN.
Good morning, Ted, and to the viewers and the listeners tuned in.
Very well. Let's talk about the objectives of the Labor Law Guide that was recently launched.
So, a very exciting launch that took place last week, Friday, on the SADC Private Sector Forum. They launched the SADC Labor Law Guide, and this is basically a very valuable comparative tool that employers who, a private sector who do business across the region can have a look at to better understand the labor laws that, exist within the different SADC regional countries. And it's also a very valuable tool for policymakers to adapt and revise their laws to promote trade between the region. And another stakeholder that it could be very important to are law practitioners who are practicing in HR and IR related fields, as well as academics. Universities can make use of this labor law guide, lecturers and students who are studying human resources, specifically looking at labor laws.
Yeah. Let's talk about the team that came up with this guide, and how was the process like?
So this has been a long time coming platform. It started in 2016, and the driving force behind this was the SADC Private Sector Forum. They are a unifying voice of private sector. They promote trade and policies that enable trade within the region, and they worked alongside the International Labour Organization, who the NEF is also very closely affiliated with, and an organization called Brand Africa, who were really the driving force behind developing this website.
And let's talk about the importance of creating a labor law guide, and what are some of the challenges that it will address?
So it's very important to create this labor law guide, and really the main thing that they were looking at is creating a single access point for anybody who has access to the internet to go onto this website and have a look at the different labor laws that exist within the country. Of course, the very valuable thing about this guide is that it has a comparative tool, and this allows the user to have a look at labor laws that are, for example, taking place in Namibia compared to Uganda, and for businesses to understand that they would have to then adjust their human resources policies to comply with the minimum requirements for these labor laws. It also really aids in terms of development, in terms of labor legislation, and this will then also talk to the issue of decent work principles across the SADC region. And it's a great tool for policymakers, different governments to have a look and say, okay, well, this is working very well in Namibia, let's translate this into our labor laws. And of course, the most amazing thing about this is that it's an up-to-date website, and the website has country members who make sure that the information is up to date. And in Namibia, the NEF is the country member for this. So we are very committed to ensuring that the information regarding labor laws in Namibia that's on this website is up to date and it's relevant.
Okay. Now, we know that it has been compiled since 2016. Would you say that there are major differences in labor laws within the region?
Actually, no. And I would really encourage you to have a look at the website, go onto it. The comparative tool really helps you be able to see the different labor laws in the SADC countries. And it will actually help you see that many of them are very similar. In fact, some countries are actually more relaxed in terms of their labor laws. And so, but it is very important to take note that there are various minimum conditions that exist in terms of doing business within these countries. And so, for example, businesses that trade within, across the region should, definitely have a look at the different, minimum requirements so that they're able to comply to them.
Now, let's talk about the significance of labor laws in facilitating business, trade, and employment around the region. What is the significance thereof of the labor law?
The significance is really great, and I think this online platform serves as an employment guide, to help businesses in terms of decision making and helping them adjust the way that they do business to really enable them to carry out their business across the region. And it's important to keep in mind that this labor law guide is very specific to labor issues, and in terms of compliance matters, employers and private sector businesses will really have to look at adjusting their employment practices so that they can actually meet the minimum requirements for conducting business.
Now, for someone to access the labor law guide for SADC, how can they go about it? What is the platform? Is a registration required?
So there is a online registration required, but it's not necessarily a registration, and more like signing in to this website. So it's an online website, freely accessible. Anybody with an internet connection can access it, and it is accessible over your mobile phone, your tablet device, and a desktop device as well. And it's also available in English, Portuguese, and French, so very inclusive. And the website to it is, World Wide Web, www.sadclaborlaw.spsf.org.bw. But if you search it on the internet and you just say SPSF Labor Law Guide, you will be able to find the link. We've also posted it on all our online media platforms under NEF. So you can just search NEF Namibia and find us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and we've also posted the link there.
Great. Thank you so much, Bellaro. Great. There you have it. I was in conversation with Bellaro Mupurua. She is from the Global Apprenticeship Network, talking to us about the SADC Private Sector Forum that developed a compendium of labor laws in the region. And it's accessible on the SADC website as well as NEF website here in Namibia. And you can access it in English, French, or otherwise Portuguese.